society that we grew up in, the girls grow up watching Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and things of that sort, where we grow up and as princesses we're all supposed to fall in love with the prince and go to this elaborate castle and have this big, huge, gorgeous wedding and wear these beautiful white dresses and all eyes be on us for the entire day. Well, growing up as a little girl, I always dreamt of being that princess that grew up and met my Prince Charming and had this big, beautiful, elaborate wedding where all eyes were on me for the day. But the wedding dress wasn't something that I always just pictured something just being amazing and elaborate. I always looked forward to a beautiful white veil because without the veil, the wedding dress was simply nothing but a white dress. When I was a child, my grandmother did a lot of wedding decorating. People would come to her and pay her money, and she would make flowers and boutonnieres and corsages and bouquets and things of that sort. And anytime somebody in our family got married, she always did that. So I would always watch her make these flowers and stuff, and every once in a while a bride would ask her to make the veil. I mean, the kind, generous woman that she was, she would spend hours and hours at a time making these veils and making sure that each one was unique and no bride's veil was the same as one before. And I would spend hours just watching her as she made these beautiful veils. When I became engaged, there was no question about it. My grandmother was going to be who I went to make all my flowers and corsages and boutonnieres, all the aisle runners, all the decorations, all the placemats, all the decorations that were needed for my wedding, my grandmother was going to make. But she did not know that I had always dreamt of her making my wedding veil. So I went to her and asked her to make it. She had several excuses how she's retired from doing that and she hasn't done it in years, and the flowers are easy but the veil's hard, and needless to say, I finally talked her into saying that she would make this veil for me. And I knew without a doubt in my mind that it was going to be by far the most beautiful veil I'd ever seen in my life. I would call her several times to ask about the flowers and the decorations to make sure that we were on task and that she had all the right numbers that she had of corsages and boutonnieres, but I never once asked her about the wedding veil. On the eve of our wedding, I was at the church making sure all the last-minute things were done, and my grandmother was there with the veil, and she showed it to me. And it was by far the most beautiful veil I'd ever seen. I could tell that she had spent so many hours doing it, and it was the biggest and beautiful and had so much more decoration than any of the other veils I'd ever seen her make. On the morning of our wedding, my grandmother went upstairs to the church and gave the veil to my father, who then placed it on my head. And that was something that was very important as a pre-marriage ritual. And through the ceremony, walking up there, the veil was what my father lifted as he gave me away to my husband. And it was very symbolic throughout the entire wedding, and it's something that was important for the wedding and will also be important after the wedding and for the rest of my life. It's something that my grandmother made that I'm always going to have. I just hope maybe one day, when me and my husband have children, I know that my daughter's going to grow up wanting to be that princess and her Prince Charming, and as they walk down the aisle and they have this big, beautiful wedding, and I just hope that one day she has the same fascination with wedding veils as I did, and maybe even one day she'll wear the same beautiful veil that my grandmother gave me on her wedding. Thank you.